Hi everybody, how's everybody doing today? Today I'm going to do something a little different, but first I would like you to say hi to Anna. Right? Hi baby. Oh, my little girl. Say hi to everyone. Oh, you want to kill me, don't you? Yes you do. Little freak. I love you so much. Yeah. So, I'm going to do something different. I want to talk about something today that's very personal to me, and maybe you guys, some of you who maybe have been through sorry, something similar can maybe give me some advice or whatever. Um, so my father died 5 years ago today. Um, I'm the oldest of I have a brother who's 5 years younger, and that year was that wasn't one of the that was 2012, and I had that year I had my gallbladder removed in February, and I made the mistake of going to a hospital up where I live rather than going to Westchester Medical Center where I always go for everything, because everybody's it's an easy surgery, you'll be in and out the next day, no big deal. It's like, so I figured, yeah, why not, right? And mistake, because the doctor, he nicked the common bile duct, and I had bile, 3 liters of bile in my abdomen. By the time I got to Valhalla 2 weeks later, 10 days later, 2 weeks, and it was bad, like when I got there, they asked me if I'd been in a car accident because the internal injuries were so bad. Anyway, so that led to 3 different surgeries, 3 more surgeries to fix what this idiot had done. It was a terrible, terrible, one of the worst hospital stays I've had. Um, I was in the ICU for most of it, and I couldn't breathe. I had that oxygen thing, and it was bad, and I was totally alone, completely alone through the whole thing. They are a wonderful hospital, and everybody there is great, so I'm not complaining. I'm just then when I got out, I went back to where I was living for about a month, and I couldn't stay there anymore. I was homeless. I was on the street for about 5 or 6 days. Then I got into a shelter. Then about 2 months later, I got a different place. So it took me a very long time to recover from that surgery those surgeries, because they had drainage tubes which were like, thick, in my abdomen, 4 of them, to try and drain all the bile out. And I'm not clear on everything that was done, because maybe it was, I don't know. I don't have a good memory of everything that was done in that hospital stay. Anyway, but I have a lot of scars in my abdomen from that, and also from the initial Crohn's surgery, which is a very long, vertical scar. And that's what causes a lot of the pain that I have, is these wounds that they healed, but there's nerve damage, and there's all kinds of... Anyway, that's what my life was like leading up to my father dying in that October. I hadn't seen him for... The last time I had spoken to him was... I had a lawsuit against a hospital, the same hospital here where I live, and it finally went to trial in early 2009, and I called him, and he called me back. And that's the first time that my parents, either one of them, had called me back in about 2 years. They stopped answering calls like a couple years before that. I don't know what led up to. I don't understand. I'll never understand what the issue is with my parents. For some reason, I don't know. I'm like I did have huge drug problems, but they weren't around it. I moved out when I was 19. They never saw any of that. Like I never stole from them. They didn't. They wouldn't have even been aware of it if I hadn't told them some of what I told them. But for whatever reason, there was a separation with my parents, and the closest I can come to explaining it is that, you know, I sometimes, like, I would go over on Sundays, and then sometimes if I'd miss a Sunday, it would be like, well, you don't want to be a part of this family, and all that. Just stuff that was like, I just... So anyway, the vibe that I got was my father got sick of my coming in and out of their lives, so he just didn't want to bother anymore, and nor did my mother. When the lawsuit went to trial, they answered the calls. They had me and my girlfriend at the time over to dinner 3 times during the 3 weeks that the trial was going on. I lost the trial because medical malpractice is a bitch. And the lawyer brought up my drug history, and that was... Anyway, even though it had nothing to do with what happened. But, so that's the situation. And then the day that I lost, I called them and I never heard from them again, either one of them. I tried, like I called a bunch of times after that and nobody returned calls. And finally my girlfriend was like, you know what, just stop, because every time they don't answer or don't return a call, it only hurts you more. So just stop. So eventually I did. I stopped. He died October 14th. I wasn't told. There was someone around them, a friend of mine, that could have contacted me and told me that he was in the hospital and that he was going to die and that he had died and the funeral and all that. She elected not to for whatever reason I'm still not 100% clear on. And when my father was being buried, I was a mile away in a rehab outpatient program at that moment. And I didn't know. The next weekend, I got a message from her, this friend of mine, who, something about it made me Google my father's name. I Googled his name, I found out he had died. Then she called me right after that and told me, apparently she had gone to the funeral and went to my parents' house and all that after that. Well, nobody felt the need to tell me. So I was intentionally not told. I've gotten different stories from 2 different people, but what I believe is that she was told not to tell me for whatever reason. Yeah, I don't know. But I miss my dad a lot. Like, we had ups and downs, and we were very much alike. Very much alike. Any musical talent I have, I got from him. My sense of humor, I got from him. We had the same type of personalities, and I believe that he had undiagnosed mental illnesses his whole life. He was a difficult person at times. But I loved him, and being told that he didn't want me at the hospital when he was dying, and he didn't want me at the funeral, which I will never know if is true or not, really messes my head up, because I don't know. And my mother, I have no contact with her. I've tried 3 times since he died, and she's called me back, but she makes it clear that she doesn't want any kind of relationship. So, my brother, I haven't seen him. I don't know where he is. So I'm alone, basically, and have been for quite a while. Which is okay, but I miss my dad a lot. I think about him more and more. And I wish that there was a way to know, like I was raised Catholic, and I believe in that, and I don't go to church. I don't subscribe to a lot of the religion, but I do you know, I believe in Jesus and the Son of God and my personal Savior and that's what I believe, and I was raised and I will always believe that. And, but I wish that I want some kind of, like, something from my dad to know that he's okay, or that he acknowledge, like, I don't know. I just feel like, you know, I'm his son, and I was just, like, kept away, and it wasn't right. I wouldn't do that to someone. And I wish I could. I mean, I know I can't talk to him, but I wish I could. Just something, you know, to know that he knows that I'm thinking about him, or that I miss him, or that I want to see him when it's my time to go. So I guess what I want to ask you guys is, have any of you been through anything similar to that? You know, like, any part of it, really, you know. And how do you deal with it? Do you look for signs? Do you, you know, as far as the people that are still here, like my mother, I don't know. I have a lot of issues with that, which that's just never going to change. She doesn't want to be a part of my life. And that causes me a lot of separate issues. But that's not the part that I really want to ask you guys about. What I want to ask you guys about is, like, how do you think of it? Do you think of people that have passed on, that, like, they're still with you, or are they, I mean, like, I don't know what happens, and I know no one does, but I wish I did. I wish I could just talk to him, or, I don't know. Anyway. That is why when I hear Lauren complain about not getting his macaroni and cheese, you know, my family didn't tell me my father died. He didn't get macaroni and cheese. So sometimes it gets on my nerves a little bit when I hear it. So if my comments are a little vitriolic towards him, in that instance, that's what it's about. That's it. There's a song, it's by a guy named Rick Springfield, and the song's called My Father's Chair. And I can't get all the way through it, but check it out if you get a chance. It's really a great song, and I would quote some of the lyrics right now, but I will get emotional, and I don't want to do that. But the questions that he asks in that song are the questions that I'm asking. So, that's it, guys. Just reaching out to you guys for some advice, or just opinions, or anything you might want to say. And I'll be back tomorrow. I'm gonna do another music video. Alright, so I'll see you guys then. Have a good day, guys.